Right, in this video we're going to look at all the way from multiplying fractions to dividing fractions. What you should note there is if you can divide fractions, you can multiply fractions because there's only one extra step to dividing the fractions. Let's first of all look at multiplying these two fractions. Multiplying fractions is probably the easiest thing you can do with fractions actually. All we need to do is multiply the numerator by the other numerator and denominator multiplied by denominator. So this question we've got 3 multiplied by 6, and underneath we've got 5 multiplied by 14. 3 times 6 is 18. 5 times 14 is 70. And anytime you've got a fractions question, always look to see if you can simplify it. 18 and 70 are both even numbers, so we can divide them both by 2. (18) divided by 2 is 9. 70 divided by 2 is 35. We can't divide both of these by 2, we can't divide them by 3, 5, etc. So that is it fully simplified. That is our answer to 3 over 5 multiplied by 6 over 14. Now, some of you might have noticed we could have made this easier from the start. If you can simplify before doing any calculations, then you should do so. Because if we simplify the fractions, then we can make these numbers a lot smaller and the multiplication a lot easier. So 3 over 5 can't be simplified, but 6 over 14 are both even numbers, so we can half both numbers. So we've got 3 over 7. 6 over 14 and 3 over 7 are the same. They're equivalent to each other. We've just simplified the numbers. So now we can do the same thing, and we should get 9 over 35 if we do this right. So it's 3 times 3, 5 times 7. So our answer ends up being 9 over 35, which is what we had here. But on this one, our purple one, the numbers were a lot smaller because we simplified before we started. There will be cases where you can't simplify, so you just continue on multiplying and see if you can simplify afterwards. But if you can't simplify beforehand, do so. It'll make your life a lot easier. That's multiplying fractions. Have a go at this one for yourselves actually. So let's go with 5/8 multiplied by 4/10. Pause the video now, have a go at it, and then see if you're correct. Right, I'll very quickly go through two methods to it. First one, let's just multiply straight across, okay? So we got 5 times 4, 8 times 10. So we end up with 20 over 80. Both those numbers could be divided by 2, they could be divided by 4, but actually both of them, if we're doing it the quickest way, both could be divided by 20. Because 20 is a factor of 20, and 20 is also a factor of 80. So we end up with 1 over 4, a quarter, and that is our answer. Alternatively, we could see if we simplify beforehand. 5 over 8 can't be simplified, but 4 over 10 can. 2 divides into both of these, so we get 2 over 5, and that's it fully simplified. It's the same calculation. So we get 5 over 2 divided by 8 multiplied by 5, which gives us 10 over 40. Both these can be divided by 10. So we get 1 over 4, which is what we had over here. So whether you simplify beforehand or afterwards doesn't necessarily matter, although simplifying beforehand does make it a little bit easier for you. Right. Right, let's jump along to dividing fractions. Remember, as I said before, if you can divide fractions, then you can multiply fractions. So we're going to take what we've just done and we're going to apply it to this. The first key thing we need to remember with dividing fractions is using KCF, which is just an acronym for keep, change, and flip. So we're going to keep the first fraction, and we're going to change division to its inverse, which is multiplication, and we're going to flip the final fraction, so it's going to be 2 over 1. Now what we've got is a multiplication calculation. So as we did before, 5 times 2 over 6 times 1. So we end up with 10 over 6. Which isn't nice, obviously. We can simplify that, and it is top heavy. Let's simplify it first. Divide them both by 2. So we get 5 over 3. Now change it into a mixed number. 5 divided by 3 is 1 whole number. There's a remainder of 2. And the denominator stays the same, stays as 3. So that is our answer for dividing fractions. Have a go at this one yourself. See how you do. Let's go with 2 over 5 divided by 3/4. Pause the video, have a go at it, and then see how you did. Right, it's dividing fractions, so our first step will be keep, change, and flip, KCF. So we're going to do 2 over 5 multiplied by 4 over 3. With multiplication, multiply straight across, so it's 2 times 4 divided by 5 times 3. That will give us 8 over 15. 2 doesn't divide into both of them, neither does 3, neither does 5 or 7. So that is fully simplified. You can't do any more with that. That is your answer, 8 over 15. Pause the video if you wish at this stage and go and practice a few more. But our last step to look at with multiplying and dividing fractions is when we get mixed numbers. The method we're going to use for this is the same for multiplication. What we need to do first, so step 1 is change into improper fractions. We don't want mixed numbers here. Mixed numbers we want in our answer, but we don't want them in the calculation because it's just too messy and hard to do. So we're going to change them into improper fractions or top-heavy fractions. So that will look like the whole number multiplied by the denominator in brackets. That tells me how many 1/5 they are in 2 whole numbers. And we add on another 4/5. That denominator always stays the same. That's being divided by, and now on this one, we're going to do the whole number multiplied by the denominator. So 1 times 3. And then add on those extra 2/3. And again, that denominator does not change, it stays the same. So tidying it up, we have in the brackets first 10 plus 4, 14/5 altogether, divided by 3 plus 2, 5/3. So 5/3, these are exactly the same, the mixed number, they're equivalent to each other. What that looked like was, we had, there's your one whole number, and there are 1, 2, 3 1/3 in there, and after that one whole number, we also had another 2/3. So that's what your 1 and 2/3 looks like. One whole number and 2 added onto it. All together you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So that's your 5/3 there. That's what it looks like. Right, step 2 is KCF and finish it out from there. So it is 14/5. Change division to multiplication and flip that final fraction so we get 3/5. Now we're back to multiplying fractions. So it's numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. I end up with 30/42/25. Again, it's top heavy. So what I want to do is, how many 25s divide into 42? That would be one whole number. And there is 17 left over. And the denominator stays the same, 25. So that is your answer. 2 whole numbers and 4/5 divided by 1 whole number and 2/3. Change to improper fractions first. Use KCF, multiply, change back into a mixed number if it needs to be done. And that's it done. Have a go at this question for yourself. 3 and 2/5 divided by 2 1/4. Pause the video, have a go at it and see how you do. Right, first step, change these into improper fractions. So it's going to be 3 times 5 plus the 2, and that stays over a 5, that doesn't change, divided by 2 times 4, add on a 1, and again the denominator stays the same, it's a 4. So we've got 17/5 divided by 9/4. Now we can apply KCF. So we're going to keep the first fraction, 17/5. Change division to multiplication and flip the final fraction to get 4/9. Numerator times numerator. And underneath we've got denominator multiplied by denominator. 17 times 4 is 68. 5 times 9 is 45. The only thing we need to do now is top heavy, so change it into an improper fraction. 68 divided by 45 would be one whole number. And there is 18/23 left over, and the denominator stays the same, 45, and there's your answer. And that has taken you all the way from, first of all, multiplying fractions, which is the easiest bit, just multiply straight across. Dividing fractions, keep, change, flip, and then do your multiplication. And with with mixed numbers, change them into improper fractions and then carry on from there.